If anyone has a problem being recorded, you can hang up now, but otherwise we will get started. And so far we have myself, Alwyn, Guru, and we're going to jump right into the items on the agenda. And attendees are encouraged to help take notes as we go through. Okay, so the first thing on the agenda is the platform TCK refactoring. Oh, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, Scott.
Great.
We can hear you.
Terrific. Okay, so yeah, the TCK refactoring is the big action item that we're doing now. And as we've talked about on the mailing list, we have the draft pull request that I've been pushing changes to, and while we're here, I think I want to mention it's that I'd like to squash all over the commits. Oops. Commits. Is anyone against squashing all of the commits into one before the change gets merged instead of multiple separate commits?
Squashing commits should help to clean up our commit history if someone wants to go through the commit history in future, and if you can add the comments properly for each of the commits, and people can follow it, that will be great. We can squash all the commits at their logical points based on the need. So that users, when they go through the repository, they have a clean-cut commit history, and they will be able to follow the commits based on the write-up they give for each of the commit. That's what my thinking is.
Yeah, okay, that's a good idea. Okay, and
Personally, yeah. Please.
And I was going to say some of the comments are just nonsense, and we'll ignore those. But nonsense in the sense of just like added, just not interesting, but not really nonsense. But okay, that's a great idea, though. Yep, definitely we'll do that. I just didn't want to surprise anyone if anyone was making changes, to it. But I just wanted, the other thing I wanted to mention, right now we can build that branch, but but there are a lot of failures due to unresolved class references like the Java test harness and what have you. And there were some changes I didn't want to didn't want to just remove like all references to things that we might need to refactor, and that that's kind of there's some open questions in the agenda for that, but yeah, just wanted to mention that. And
yeah, Scott, I was thinking whether since this TCK refactoring itself is a big task, maybe we should create a separate branch. I mean, the merge that you would do for the initial commit, should that go in a separate branch? So maybe we could divide it into different issues, and maybe more people can contribute efficiently. Or I was thinking whether we should do that.
Yeah, that's a good. So should we have more than one refactor branch that branch in the TCK repo for different aspects of
No, I meant just one additional branch for the entire refactoring. Or do we already have that? Or?
Currently, we have a TCK refactor branch created by Scott.
Oh, okay, okay. So this the draft PR is currently targeted to the refactor branch. Okay, then have that's all I have to say.
okay. Can you I just changed. Can you see what I'm typing?
Yes, we can.
Okay, wasn't quite sure. And let's see, just bringing up the branch list. So yeah, we have yep, the TCK refactor branch. Let's see. We should. So I'll just change. We should. So we should use the TCK refactor branch for the refactoring work. Okay. Yep. We do have that, and yeah, it'll be good to have that, and I think this allows the master or main, whatever it's going to be called, or whatever branch to be used for immediate EE10 TCK changes in case we don't finish the refactoring in time for the EE10 release. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, like in a few weeks, or, in October, we'll start seeing some spec API, ballots, and we'll be able to, look to bring in, the specs as they change, and test changes as well, as they become available. So I'll just say the TCK refactor branch may be complete for EE10 or not. We don't really know yet, because but yeah, yep, that's let's see. So I'd like to go on to unless anyone has anything else to say about that about that pull request effort, go on to the JUnit 5 or TestNG, and it seems like I think a lot of the efforts happening on at the spec API level of add-in TCKs. I think the trend has been that JUnit 5 has been used more than TestNG. but still, I think we, we'll need to decide for the platform TCK refactoring of the test, whether we want to use TestNG or JUnit 5. And for that reason, I added the item here. And I, I think TestNG has more flexibility um, with regard to its flexibility to work with our existing tests. It might be a little easier with TestNG to um, um, enable TestNG than JUnit 5, but um, JUnit 5 is popular as well. So um, I'm not really sure until we actually um, start making the changes in the platform TCK, in the refactor branch to do one or the other. I think we have time to, um, to think about that more and maybe see how it goes when we do start making those changes. And if we hit it, whichever one we start with, if we hit a problem, maybe we reevaluate and look at if it's easier with the other one. um, um, I suppose, but I don't know. What does everyone else think?
As you told, Scott, JUnit is more popular, but we have certain TCKs like CDI and Bean validation TCK, which are using uh, 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 the TestNG. But what's the greatest advantage of using TestNG? Like, will we get more productivity, or will the movement of the test be faster, or are there any advantages like there are more community developers willing to pitch in if we have TestNG or JUnit, or or can we follow the hybrid approach where we allow both? If a spec decides, okay, there is it supports JUnit, then we allow whole of the spec to write test in JUnit, and if the spec members are comfortable and they want to maintain it in TestNG, we can allow them to maintain in TestNG. Or if we have certain people pitching in for platform TCK who are willing to uh, help us and have knowledge in JUnit or TestNG, we can specify or give them module based on the comfortability and requirement. Like what we get using TestNG. That's what my current thinking is.
So I think that, let's see. So we should take some notes as we go. Let's see. So I think let's see. I was going to say um, I think TestNG has better has more um, support for profiles. I'm just going to go back to the I'm going to go to the let me add the link to the agenda. Let's see. I'll paste it in. Let's see. Okay. So I think that TestNG. I actually I quoted just switching to the TCK proposal. TestNG has like a nice external configuration for I think it's external, that you can control it, grouping of test methods, so you can or it's in code. I forget now, but they allow just a nice they have nice support for groupings or nested groups of um, what is to be run or not to be run that at least seem to me um, close enough to what we currently support in the platform TCK, via the keywords groupings that we support, that it just for users it might be not, it might be nicer. The but JUnit 5 does also have what they call custom filtering, via their launcher discovery request mechanism that can also be used. So um, and yeah, so they both they both have some level, but it just seemed like TestNG's advantage was the the stronger support for what what's enabled and not enabled, um, um, which it's isn't really an issue for for things changing in EE10, but more for any existing optional tests that we might want to bring in. Um, um, so, oops, didn't mean to do that. Let me fix that. I was going to say, let's see.
What will happen to the tests which has been already migrated or separated? Like they will continue to be executed as they are, right? We will not enforce any rules telling that okay, these tests need to come back to be run in platform as a TestNG test. Like there is already work progress for JAX-RS, and there has already been work on JSON B and JSON P, and yeah, so there will be hybrid approach, right? Or
That's
how is it?
that so what impact does what the platform TCK choose to use for test harness have on, I'm just at, it's on the next screen, but next page, but on individual spec API TCKs. And the point was that um, um, spec API TCKs can choose the can choose between, I'll just say JUnit 5 and TestNG. But I don't think there's any reason to to change that. I'll say some spec API TCKs will be runnable against EE containers, and also EE implementations. whether the platform TCK needs to be able to run those TCKs directly, or the user just runs them separately. You know, isn't clear yet, but I'm just going to add that at the point at that point we talked before about the platform TCK will want to be able to run all of the different standalone TCKs, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure that's that should be a requirement. Requirements for those TCKs with regard to running under under platform TCK. Yeah, that's like why why should they, why run them on the platform TCK? I think the reason would be so that just for ease of use. So I think it's, but I don't know, we could do that, we could integrate them, but I'd say it would be less work to not integrate the standalone TCKs into the platform TCK, but let users run them directly. Because I think I think I'll just say this might change, right? Because if we could integrate them, as if we could integrate the standalone they would be easier to run. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Scott. Scott, maybe you can share the agenda. I think, yeah.
Yep.
Even though we are looking at the agenda directly, but yeah, for the recording purpose. Yeah.
Let's see. Hi, Lucas. Welcome.
Hi. Sorry, I'm late. I just had other stuff to do.
That's fine. Let's see. Let's see where. Oops. And chat. Oops. Let's see. I'm looking for my chat control. Can someone post the agenda link? And Lucas, do you need the agenda link? I don't know who just asked. Someone just asked me.
I have it.
You have it. Okay. All right. And just to let you know, we are recording.
I saw that
Okay.
notification. So.
Okay, good. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, I think the short answer is that spec APIs TCKs can choose TestNG or JUnit 5, whatever works for them. I think as far as I can tell, from the user perspective, that's the person running the TCK. I don't think there would be any major differences other than maybe the way you enable and disable different tests, groups of tests, will be a little different between the two. But I think the important thing now is for spec API TCK TCKs that have been started or will be written to have the spec API teams that are going to own those TCKs to do what they feel they need to do, rather than making that decision for them. So if the platform TCK does choose to use one or the other, I think that will kind of that would be for any technology that we do that refactoring for. And just since Lucas is here, just to pick one of his many projects that he leads, persistence. Like, let's say, for example, we refactor the persistence test in the platform TCK, and then it's kind of done in the platform TCK level. And then let's say the persistence API team wants to take over that TCK. I think a lot of the work will have been done for them in the platform TCK. Then we can just move the sources to the persistence project. And let's say we did we started with TestNG, and the persistence project wanted to switch to JUnit 5 or whatever, and that would be fine. No problem there. So I think we're okay there. And for any of the specs that are already doing their own doing the refactoring, we wouldn't do that in the platform TCK, like JAX RS. Our RESTful web services. We wouldn't do it for batch. We wouldn't do it for any JSON B, or any of the other ones that have already been doing it in the platform level. So we'd anticipate it being done at the spec level instead.
I have only one note to TestNG. About a decade, maybe 15 years ago, I've added a feature to TestNG which allows running JUnit tests. It was able to recognize in which framework the test is written and react accordingly. So the only requirement was turn on some switch and have JUnit on the class path. At the time it was for JUnit 4, but eventually we could work with TestNG team again and resurrect that feature. So at the end of the day, it could be possible for the platform TCK to use TestNG by default and allow running all sort of tests, including JUnit ones at the same time. But I'm not sure what's the state of that feature, whether it was moved away or how it works these days. As I said, it was, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. So.
Huh, that's pretty interesting. I'll say many years ago.
Yeah,
Let's see.
I've used that. I've used that, or yeah, I've used that mainly in NetBeans or for NetBeans to allow their test to be written in both, while having also one testing harness and which is able to execute both. So probably similar approach can be taken by the platform TCK, be it based on TestNG or JUnit, but generally it should be possible to implement a runner for whatever the other option is, and this way integrate with those using the different framework.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
As you wrote it, it could use TestNG and run JUnit 5 test via special runner, or the other way around. Extend JUnit 5 to allow running TestNG tests. It could work both way, I believe, both ways.
Okay.
At least I hope that's possible.
Scott, you are sharing different tab, I guess. You are typing on the agenda, like the share is of different tab.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, okay. I thought when I was switching to a different tab that the different tab was showing up. Okay. Um, okay. Yep. All right. Yeah. I is what I'm sharing now in sync?
It's like Quacker's tab, which has some JAX-RS tests. That's what it's showing up.
Oh, that's okay. Let me let's see. Stop share and share again. Let's see. Share screen. Let's see. Let's go share the desktop. Is that how is that? Is that showing the agenda?
No, it's still the Quackus for me.
Yeah, it's Quacker's.
Oh, okay. Let me try again. Let's see. Share screen. Desktop.
Yeah, now I am able to see.
Okay. Sorry about that. All right. So, okay, let's see. So let's can we jump into the RESTful Web Services proof of concept work that Alwyn has been working on, and I added a question. I don't have any answers really yet, but we wanted to know, do we still need the Porton kit interfaces? And I think there was like what the TS URL interface. I think that we identified that we needed, or something like something with URL
Yeah.
building.
Yeah, for JAX-RS, I could see that only one single method for get URL. that is used to get the URL of the application server being used. So that is why the porting kit is used for JAX-RS. So in the comments it's written, if any other application server uses or creates a URL in a different way, then they would need a class implementation for that. Otherwise, the whole porting kit used within this JAX-RS TCK, for the tests I have migrated. Okay, so that is only using the get URL, which is a very common one. But yeah, maybe in future we may require any different implementation if we see any other application servers. Otherwise, I think this porting kit dependency is only for the get URL. Yeah.
Okay, great. So in the draft, pull request that I had started, I, anyone that's built the branch, the topic branch, sees that there's like lots of build failures, and there's a lot of them. A lot of the failures are references to the Java test harness, and the question I had here was, I think there's some tests that that depend on the test harness in some way, directly or indirectly, and I you know I think that we'll have to analyze the use and figure out if we can just remove, or if we need to replace any of it. And it seemed like a bigger task than I wanted to do right now, would just to get that pull request available, the ability to to have the separate Maven projects set up, shared for others to contribute to, going. And I think there'll be changes like that that will be available for people to look at that want to help out, and um, so I think the choices really are, if we just remove all of the Java test harness references, we'll be able to compile the code. If we just like ripped it all out, but then we would kind of be, we might be left with problems later that where we didn't replace it with something that that serves a purpose. So,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. What I observed from the after building the code was that there is the status method, I believe, comps and java test.status. So that probably needs to be replaced with something else, I believe. This status is used in a lot of places to get the final test run status. Maybe we could replace that with something else, I believe. That itself could remove a lot of dependency on this JTMS.
Great. Okay. Terrific.
Also, along with the status, there is another class, parent class, which all the test class inherits. I think EE test or something like that.
Yep.
That also has a dependency on Java test harness. That has code related to Java test harness. that also we need to remove. And as Alvin said, yeah, status, like if we, for replacing the status, we need to know the technology which we are coming up or using to, or we need to write a status class to encapsulate the test run status. I think we need to have a deeper look into the status class for removal and migration.
Great. Good. Okay. All right. That sounds pretty reasonable. Let's see. So we have about 15 minutes left. I think the next topic, which um, I think is the only. Well, I don't know if we can do it, but if we can automate, the switch, the switch to Archillian and shrink wrap, um, I think it would be, you know, um, it'll be more reasonable to do. Oh, we just lost Lucas. It'll be more reasonable to do the refactoring in quickly. Um, i- if I mean, I don't know how many people will be contributing, but yeah, regardless, um, if we have 2 million plus lines of code that we have to manually change, we'll make there'll be a lot, there'll be a lot of mistakes, and it'll be very time consuming to make the change. Oh, hi Lucas, welcome back. It'll be very
Sorry.
no problem. It'll be very time consuming to make the change. Um, um, but so yeah, I think it's definitely worth trying anyways um, to automate it. And I don't know if we should, I don't know the best tooling. Um, I included a link that came out of the servlet mailing list. Um, that's Stuart Douglas wrote some tooling for Quarkus that walks through the Java test sources and rewrites the Java test code, um, and adds in Archillian and oops, just noticed a typo. Adds in Archillian and shrink wrap calls, and um, the just in case not everyone is aware, um, the the shrink wrap API is a API for assembling Jakarta application archive. And so it's just basically we like you know we need to you build jars, you put files in them and or elements in them, and deployment descriptors, and add jars to ears, or wars, add your wars to the to an ear. And um, it's that type of code where we would basically we'd need to kind of walk through the tests and add in the imports for shrink wrap, and use that that API. And we'd kind of have to walk through what is in that test archive. um, and maybe we should be walking through the actual archives themselves, like the generated archives from the current TCK, and maybe that's easier to walk through an actual generated archive and map that to the test sources. I don't know. But yeah, so like what, what would be the most expressive tool that that you all would prefer, like for doing such a conversion? If anyone has any preferences, or like, is there a particular language or tooling that can best handle this, rather than Java, or is Java just as good as any other?
Like alternative is scripting we are thinking about for automation.
This is scripting to basically change all the, like there's 2 million lines, 2 million plus lines of tests in the platform TCK, and this would be automation to, it might not do a perfect job, but it would do most of the code changes to switch to shrink wrap. And if it could do it all, if it could do it 100% correct, that's even better. Of course, but that's the idea, to avoid having to make 2 million change. I guess we wouldn't be changing all 2 million lines of tests, or 2 million plus lines of tests. It would be more like I think the main test class, the client test class, if you will, that would which would probably be changed to have the shrink wrap calls to assemble the archives. And currently the logic is in the ant build XML script, I think, in most cases, driven by ant to build the archives. And so, yeah.
We can use the shrinkwrap, but I don't know how much we can automate the dependency, which we like. If I want to add a package to the war, or say some of the jars to a particular war, I don't know how much we can automate to an extent, but yeah, we can use shrinkwrap. But adding additional packages based on the war which we need to create, I'm not so sure. I will look into it.
Yeah, it's not adding additional. It's just this is just to do a mapping of what we currently are putting in each archive, but using the shrink wrap API to express that. And so, like if it, like if we wrote code to walk through the archives that we generate from the platform TCK, currently, um, it probably wouldn't be too difficult to see all of the elements that need to be reproduced, right? And like for classes, there's a class, we can get the class name of a class from the class file, and or it can do it at the source level. I'm not sure which is better, um, but you don't, yeah. So I guess I guess, we really need to see some proof of concept that that shows it can be done, I guess, and then we go from there. But if anyone has any ideas about the best tooling to use, then that would certainly be welcome. If anyone has preferences for how we try it, if we don't, if we don't do it, like how long, like how quickly like from the Jack's RS effort, how quickly was it for you to now that you've done it a few times, like how quickly can you add a test to what you've done so far, like a new test that's using shrink wrap and to convert, let's say, one test. Is that an hour or a day?
Yeah, for JAX-RS, I have added around 400 tests by now. So for shrinkwrap was used in 2 modules of tests. Yeah, actually, most of the migration to the shrinkwrap, Herculean, those things, after the framework was done, it was easier. I had to probably add annotation, the right annotations and the deployment method. So I don't think that would take much time, but getting the framework in place is the difficult part. So yeah, it may also depend on the on each component. But for JAX-RS, after adding more tests after the system is in place, it's easier for now.
So add new tests is easy.
Also, it depends on the configuration. Some of the tests doesn't have database dependencies or security certification dependencies. So it depends on the test from module to module. WebSocket I was working on, there was no dependency on database setup or configuration. So the test configuration setup was easy. But if we go to some other test like JDBC or mail tests, then there will be a lot of more configuration which we need to take care of, which we might not have visited so far in our current porting experience which we have with the current separated TCKs. So there are many configurations which are unknown, which we need to take care in some of the TCK or when we migrate whole of the platform. That's the concern which I see. Also, the security hasn't been touched at all. We don't know how much Herculean supports installation of key stores and other stuff, which is a black box to us currently. Yeah.
I'll say via extensions. The other thing I'll add how to add implementation specific deployment descriptors is not understood yet. I think there's ideas for how to do that, but I think that's another one. There's all the glassfish deployment descriptors that, we know the names of those, but what about the wildfly or whatever, all the other implementations, deployment descriptors, where the user knows the names, but we need something dynamic that can kind of add in, add those in. And it's almost like I think maybe it's an API to extend to the implementation being tested, or maybe like an API is one option anyways.
Also, we have a concept of vehicles, right? We deploy ER for EJB vehicle, I guess. While we do individual standalone TCK, we don't encounter that. But I'm not so sure how we will implement for platform, and how we will handle the shrinkwrap changes to switch between EAR or WAR files, or how it will be handled. I'm not so sure. Scott, you might have some ideas on this. I just wanted to bring this up during for discussion.
Yeah, I was thinking. I didn't do anything, but I was thinking that the vehicles have to just be refactored out such that if it's like an app client or web client or the all the different it just becomes an aspect of the tests themselves. And I don't know if that's like inlining some of the vehicle vehicle the runtime classes into the test, or maybe having as as a library in some form, where that code is kept as a separate thing. It doesn't, it doesn't matter as much as, that concept kind of needs to be, I mean, sorry, the logic needs to be included. That's part of the test. Like if you, like for all the JPA tests, if you can't run with all of the, if you can't run with user transaction versus, JTA, container managed, transaction, or it's we would lose something, and we don't want to lose both. We don't want to lose those abilities. So that's definitely yep. So we need to figure that out. All right, and all right, let's see. So I just want okay, we actually all right, we have a another call this afternoon, or for some of for everyone else but me, that's like going to be tomorrow. So maybe we'll be able to continue from here, but I think we are out of time. But before we end, does anyone want to? Did anyone have anything else that they wanted to add to the agenda for next call, or to close with? Anything you want to say before we finish?
One thing not related to next agenda or anything. I've added a pointer to that TestNG mixed mode to the chat. If you go to chat, you will find a link where that mode is documented.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Let me see. And
maybe you want to put it into that into agenda so others can.
Definitely. Let me see. Let me copy that. And if you send me a like if you request edit access for the next call or whatever, that that's welcome. So we get more people that can edit. Let me just, I will go for this one, I'll go ahead and do that. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Yeah, nice. Okay, thanks.
One last question, Scott. Do we need to raise CQ for JUnit or TestNG if you have started using those? or those are like how they will be taken care of?
Let's see. So what's what's TestNG or JUnit? What about them?
Like if we start using those components like JUnit or TestNG, are those licensed technologies? Should we raise CQ for that? Like
Are they like
we
they're
had
not? No, they're
No,
not. They're not licensed.
yes.
They're open source, right?
Yeah, but the CQ will have to be raised. And the question is whether the TCK will redistribute these artifacts or just use them. Because in many projects, we are using the, either JUnit or TestNG as a test dependency. So it works with, and it's almost instantly approved. But the point here is that test dependencies are not those being redistributed.
Okay.
But for the TCK, I think it will be required and it will have to be said explicitly that TCK project will redistribute these artifacts.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Let me add that under. Let me add that under the test.
okay. Yeah, that.
Let's see. So basically, that I'll just say will TestNG. Oops. Will TestNG JUnit 5 be distributed with platform with I'll say with the platform TCK as the question, and um, um, I'll just say we can expect to do a contribution questionnaire, I think it's called. Eclipse CQ requesting to include those libraries, with the platform TCK. And I don't know what that will find. That So yeah. So the
I think it should not be a big deal. It should be approved, but it needs to be done.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it needs to be done. That's it.
Okay, good. All right, that's an excellent point. All right, thank you, guys. And I'm just going to hit stop on the recording. Let's see.